not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And this is going to be a continuation of of my last beware of the black shaming propagandist. Now I did such an excellent job with the first one. The first one was so beautifully woven together. I hit so many points like that. You know, how can I follow that one? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be tough. But still, there's a lot that I didn't cover. You know what I'm saying, in my first one and so forth. You know what I'm trying to film this video, but you know, every time I start talking, these geese start, you know what I'm saying, you know, flapping their bills or whatever, and you can hear them. There was a bunch of them, and I just started filming. It's almost like they knew I was dropping this knowledge, and these geese are just trying to distract me or whatever. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. And you know, the thing is, the key element that the black shamers have on their side is the fact that black people don't have their you know, individuality and so forth. Like, you can grab something that happened, you know, on the net or whatever, and then show it to them. And it's like with black people, you could grab them like a dog and rub their face in the poo. You know what I'm saying? And shame them. You know what I'm saying? And talk to them like they're kids, like they're little children. Hence, let's take Tommy Sotomayor. And I know, you know, talking about him is like beating a dead horse at this point. But I gotta use this example. He put a video on, you know, called St. Patty's Day Massacre. And he spelled massacre wrong. He spelled it massage. He left the R out. You know, I'm not saying I don't misspell words, but you know what I'm saying, the title of the video, seriously. And then on top of that, he's one guy who gets on people when they misspell words and so forth, just even when they're texting. You see, even when they're texting their comment and so forth, you know, he gets on people's spelling, but he just, you know, misspelled the word massacre. But you know, it showed a video of black women getting riled up in some pub and grill on Patty's Day, and then it was probably one of the most boring fights that I've ever seen. I'm like, it was. And the killer part is, you know, and I read it down in the comment section, man, you just have, you know what I'm saying, the usual suspects, you know, dumb black people allowing their face to be smashed in the mud, holding their heads down in shame, and white people, you know what I'm saying, running off at the chops, talking about black people tear up stuff, and there was a school. You know, his videos kind of induce this type of you know what I'm saying, attitudes towards black people. Now, anybody with any common sense, now you hear that in the background, that's the geese, you know what I'm saying, I'm giving this truth out, and they can't even take it. Anybody with a common sense, all you have to do is go on YouTube and search St. Patty's Day. You know, St. Patty's Day fights, and you come across all sorts of stuff. You know, just you know, you know, and it's funny. Just like I said, you know, blacks, you know, they're plight in America, and the fact that, you know what I'm saying, we feel that we don't have no individuality, and you know what I'm saying, we're so lost and confused, and we'll let anybody talk to you like children, and these dudes are nothing more than hypocrites themselves. You know, I think about what Penguins Risen and what David Carl said. They said something about the black community will call them Uncle Toms and so forth because of you know what I'm saying, because the harsh critique of black people that they, you know what I'm saying, for some reason they can't fathom it, you know, and so forth. And I scratched my head on that. And first of all, they kind of the black shamers have more of a black have more blacks following them than the black, you know what I'm saying, black dudes, you know what I'm saying, of my ilk, you know what I'm saying, who speak with my ideologies. No, and it ain't that. It's not that they are crucial towards black people. It's that they turn the blind eye to what white people are doing and so forth. Now, whites can do the same thing, but then they're like, you know what I'm saying, they since their white gathering can't take criticism and so forth, they don't want to offend them, you know. And with black people, yeah, it's very easy because we're so used to these harsh criticisms and so forth. And white people, they have their individuality. You can't pull that with them. I can show white people 100 clips of their ill behavior, and they'll just simply say, "Hey, that's not me." You know, but blacks, you know what I'm saying, we should be in that mindset. And as much as they try to say that, oh, we should be more like whites, they put white people at such a high esteem. And I've stated this before: you want to be more like whites, then, you know what I'm saying, don't look at each black person as an individual. That's what they do. Like, if you talk to white people about all their, you know what I'm saying, why is that just about all, you know what I'm saying, the serial killers are white, or, you know what I'm saying, the mass murders and so forth, and they'll tell you that represents a small minority, and that's not them. You know why? Because they have, you know what I'm saying, they know their self, you know, and they have pride within themselves. You know, and they can't be shamed. The closest thing you can shame white people is a pastor can shame them for being a sinner. You know what I'm saying? That's the closest thing. And I was watching this dude, I Declare War, and he made a video in response to Fearless and something that Reverend Manning, a big time black shamer, does. You know, Reverend Manning don't just wag his finger at sinners, but black people. You know, about how, you know what I'm saying, our decrepit position and so forth. And that, yeah, it's your fault. And he was talking about slavery, about this black people made good slaves. And I remember when David Carl co-signed Manning on this, and I thought David Carl didn't care too much for pastors and brainwashed black Christians, but I guess he would if they are he's in favor of their agenda. And you know what I'm saying, and I Declare War did a good job. He debunked that because blacks have fought back. Now, if blacks do make good slaves, then it will be on a biological level. You know, a better built machine can work out there in the heat, in the swamps, and so forth. And the fact that we're fertile and black women are able to reproduce under extreme conditions. And the thing is with the Native Americans, you know what I'm saying, the Taino Indians and so forth that was here. First of all, another thing, black people were less likely to commit suicide, you know what I'm saying, to off our own selves. As a matter of fact, if you look up the stats of the nations with the highest suicide rates, notice they're primarily white in Asian countries. Or maybe I'll find the stat up and I'll post it up for you guys. Yeah. So I don't understand, you know what I'm saying, these black, poor, decadent countries that they always talk about and so forth, that is just that are so horrible. You know what I'm saying? Why aren't people just offer themselves like that? You know, and the Native Americans was known to kill themselves. You know what I'm saying? They was very reckless. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, there's no way. And Native American women will not bear offspring in captivity. So that was the thing. But there have been so many slavery revolts and successful ones at that. Now take Haiti. Haiti is a prime example. And it's funny because Reverend Manning talked about Haiti in one of his videos, and he got. I'm like, these fucking dudes. Am I the only? I don't want to brag. Am I the only one that fucking reads a goddamn book? I'm like, they get so much information wrong, but luckily for them, their constituents are in the dark about things, and they can just make up anything. And you know what I'm saying? And when Haiti rebelled and got their freedom, Haiti was the first free non-slave holding democratic and the New World. And in the whole Western Hemisphere and all the European colonies, Haiti was the first one. Non-slave holding democratic republic. But they won't tell you that. You know what I'm saying? At that time, George Washington and the boys was saying that the Haitians was a bunch of rebel slaves. For real? They got their freedom. They overthrown their oppressors, and you're going to call them rebel slaves? And so therefore, the colonial powers have done everything to sabotage Haiti for it to grow. Hence, read the book written by Randall Robinson called Unbroken Agony. And this is an excellent documentation of the whole history about Haiti, about, I'm going to get this guy's name wrong, I know, Transfient Ouverture. You know, so that's interesting right there. Hence, if there wasn't blacks make such good slaves, there wouldn't have been so many rebellions, these successful rebellions of black people, you know what I'm saying, wanting to gain their freedom and so forth. But still, you can use that. I can say that women make good slaves. Why? Because they're still an international sex slave. You know what I'm saying? There's a sex slave racket, you know what I'm saying, with females. And you can say children make good slaves. Because there's also a lot of children all over the world that's involved in that's been captured or whatever, or been sold into slavery by their own parents, mainly in these Asian countries. But yeah, you're not going to hear that, you know, and so forth. So that's completely debunked. Now, I'll go into Painless. You know what I'm saying? Painless recently mentioned my name, and you know I haven't been I haven't been saying anything about him. You see the geese that flying there. They're only doing this because I'm making this video. You know, before they were all calm and shit like that. You know, I guess they're gonna run and tell somebody. But you know, Painless. You know, you know what I'm saying. And their argument is that they can't take this sort of criticism from a black person, you know, of a black man telling the black community how it is. Now, you know what I'm saying, and and I noticed how he threw Tommy Sotomayor under the bus. Now, I'm like, Painless credibility is shot. He's talked about how Tommy was an opportunist, and opportunist is the key word here. You know, I'm like, why is it taking him so long? Maybe it's because of SS Sotomayor's ship is sinking, and that he no longer, you know what I'm saying, even want to be affiliated as part of that league of the Four Horsemen or whatever. I remember he came out with a video called The Better Man. And you see what I'm talking about? He came out with a video called I'm like, he went to bat for Tommy. I'm like, he vouched for Tommy and defended Tommy and so forth. And he had to know what he was doing. Now, for instance, I was a Tommy fan. I admit it. But that's when Tommy did his videos in the basement. And you know what I'm saying? And he gave me the impression that he was a married man, that he lived with his wife and his kid, that, you know, he was a college educated dude. He did have a harsh tongue for black women, but I thought his agenda was genuine. But for Painless, the final, I'm like, no. I'm like, his but for him, I'm like, he had to have seen the light before him. As Painless said, that black men don't know how to sit down and resolve their conflict on an intellectual basis or whatever. But then when you see Tommy, you know, ethering people and cussing people out on the internet, I'm like, come on, is that a humane way, you know, to go about an argument and so forth, you know, and how, you know, but you know, Tommy's doing this for views to make a name for himself and so forth. And Painless knew that, but still, so I figured now Painless felt that it was safe, you know. Now he wanted to disassociate himself, you know, by but we all know how Painless views, you know what I'm saying, how he completely switched up during the whole Trayvon Martin thing, you know, and so forth. So I call that funny. Now as far as the black shamers and how they're different from you know what I'm saying, let's take the white dudes, Michael Savage, Rush Limbaugh, and a lesser extent Howard Stern. These people don't bash their core audience and so forth. You know, if anything, they'll try to give them motivation, give them a prep talk saying, hey, you know what I mean, this is what we need to start doing. You know, almost like on their side. You'll never hear Rush Limbaugh say, fuck the Republican Party. You'll never hear Glenn Beck say, F the libertarian movement and so forth. You see what I mean? They're not going to rub their own people's face in the mud. You know, they're not going to point and stand of judgment. You know what I'm saying? They don't talk bad about white people. They may talk about the liberals, talking about, yeah, these liberals are at it again. The gay movement is at it again. But still, when it comes to their core audience, no, they give them ego strokes and so forth. As if with black people, I said, we're so mixed and maxed. We're so mixed up. You know, we've been so psychologically damaged. It's easy for a black man to slide up who pose like he has intelligence and just, you know, wag his finger and say, look what you black people are doing. Look how you mess up. You, and so forth. And like the term, you Negro. And I tell you, this is the, I can't stand that term, you Negro. You know, when Malcolm X went into Africa, he, you know what I'm saying, the Africans let him know that they weren't too fond of that term. And, you know, and my definition of Negro is mean you never grow. But in Spanish for the word black means you're an object and not really people. Calling black people Negroes as, imagine someone calling white people Blanca. You know, the Spanish word for the word white and so forth. So yeah, I'm like, it's silly and how black people sit up there and digest this garbage, you know what I'm saying, and support somebody that is going to bash them in favor of white people. Like they'll sit up there and tell their white masters, like, hey, look, boss, look, I'm going to call him Negro. I'm going to say all the things you want to say to them, and I'm going to say it. Watch how they react, you know, and so forth. And that's how it is. And, you know, and since, and the thing is with black people, and I stated before, and it's hard for people to get a grip. You're talking about a people that was removed from their land. Now, and if you feel that black people is already here, whatever, seen their land terraformed, lost their religion, lost their culture, lost their way of life, went through slavery, degradation, oppression, and still the chips aren't in favor of black people. And instead of pointing your finger at you know what I'm saying, who's directly responsible, I'm like, shit, I got my name from a white man, I got my language from a white man, even though I understand that the roots of English, you know, comes from Africa and so forth. And then you're going to sit there and blame the victim. I imagine a Native American looking at other Native Americans and stated that and blame themselves for what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's sitting on the reservation. Don't blame the white man. You know what I'm saying? You guys, you know what I'm saying, need to quit gambling at casinos and so forth and eating all this goddamn corn. You know what I'm saying? And believing in all the hokey totem poles or whatever and build the economic base for yourself. No. But the fact that blacks, our bloodline has been so tainted, so mixed up, you know what I'm saying, so confused. You know, it's very easy for the propagandists to manipulate us and so forth. I'm like, no other people are going to do this. You know what I'm saying? Native Americans, for the most part, is going to blame their colonizers. You know, the Jews are going to blame, you know what I'm saying, the bad things that happen to them. They're not going to blame themselves. They're not going to be like, well, you know, the Holocaust is over, you know. And like they're gonna blame people that are solely responsible, you know, and so forth. You can't pull that with them. But you know, with blacks, see, the thing is with white people, they know who they are just by their last name. You know, they can easily trace their direct family back to Europe. You know, just by their name. They know if they're British, they're Irish, you know, they're, you know what I'm saying, Scandinavian. But blacks, we can't.